Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Report Red Alert for Wednesday, January 3rd. Happy New Year to you all. Here at the Jerusalem Connection, I am so excited to start this year off with some good news about the quest to inform and fend off the BDS effort that occurs worldwide. BDS means boycott, divest, and sanction, and these are activities and rallies against the State of Israel for so-called perceived ills in its policies and its regulations and leadership in the region of the Middle East known as the State of Israel. This movement claims to rally these boycott, divest, and sanction activities against its universities, its cultural endeavors, its businesses, and its government because of the oppression, the so-called oppression that the Israeli government makes on the non-Jewish population and its neighbors in the region, even despite clear evidence of the contrary. In reality, though, the BDS movement is founded and funded and practiced worldwide by folks with or leadership that have their roots in terrorism, terrorist activities, and anti-Semitic ideas. The goal is to not have a two-state solution or any kind of peaceful coexistence with Israel, but in fact to wipe it off the face of the map and rid the region of a Jewish presence, or at least subjugate the Jews in that area and make pain for Jews worldwide. The BDS movement, however, has been recognized by the U.S. Congress as well as legislation passed by 24 states and even more in process as actually anti-Semitic. Many European trade unions and municipalities, including the city of Frankfurt and judicial districts in Spain, have declared the BDS movement anti-Semitic at its core and its intent. The BDS movement targets and generates hostilities towards Jews of all nationalities and origin simply because of their identity. While this movement seeks to capture young minds on college campuses all over the Western world, the BDS movement as a whole has seemed to be unproductive in its outcome for 2017. For example, a record number of tourists have visited Israel in 2017, 3.4 million or so, the highest number since its inception in 1948. Businesses and investment in Israel and in Israeli companies are at an all-time high, and its economy and contribution to the world continue to grow. Medical and technology innovations have improved, and the world has benefited. In the midst of various national disasters as well as man-made crises, Israel has been on the front line of recovery and aid, and these include earthquakes, fires, and even the war in Syria next door. In the UN, Nikki Haley has been praised by Benjamin Netanyahu as a true friend of Israel and grateful for the voice of truth and reason that she unabashedly proclaims on the floor of the UN. President Trump solidified the 1995 U.S. bicameral bipartisan legislation that declares that Jerusalem is the eternal and true capital of Israel, despite the eggshell walking of so many of his predecessors. Artists such as Nick Cave, Radiohead, and entertainers such as Conan O'Brien have highlighted their disdain for the BDS movement to boycott Israel, its culture, and its people, and specifically made trips and performances and specials about Israel to highlight the wonder that is generated there. But this activity has all led to the BDS movement to double down in its efforts despite the good news of progress. We truth seekers and proclaimers must not let our guard down, and the battle continues to wage. For example, the BDS movement is now conflating and manifesting itself in all sorts of social justice causes, including Black Lives Matters and various feminist groups. Israel is still being compared to South Africa even after South Africans themselves who have suffered under apartheid have visited Israel and proclaimed publicly and repeatedly that the State of Israel is nothing like apartheid South Africa. Textbooks in Palestinian regions, often funded by monies from the West, are actually teaching children as young as preschool that martyrdom is a good thing while you're killing Jews, and what they're bleeding is a blessing, so to speak. And Arabs who prefer to live under Israeli citizenship are shamed and even threatened into silence and accused of treason, despite the shared evidence that women, minorities, and the disabled are so much better served as Israeli citizens or under Israeli leadership. As we continue to share with you news from around the world about BDS activities and anti-Semitic actions at various levels of society, from schools to shopping malls to state houses, trade unions, economic groups, and international organizations, I need to inform you that the Anti-Defamation League did indeed release some numbers just this week about 2017. There was a 67% increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the United States alone from January 1 to September 30 in 2017, and this is in comparison to the same period of 2016. 1,299 anti-Semitic incidents were reported in the U.S. alone during these time, and they included physical assaults, vandalism, attacks on Jewish institutions, both schools, community centers, and educational institutions. So why is this relevant? Israel itself keeps a close eye on the world stage and the atmosphere regarding anti-Semitic notions because it is often the only intolerance that is tolerated among the so-called modern enlightened world. Knesset member Nachum Shai of the Zionist Union, chairman of the Knesset caucus to strengthen Israel-diaspora ties, described these figures presented as inconceivable. He goes on to say these figures testify to demons emerging from the bottle and are now threatening to blacken an attitude towards Jews around the world. He continues, we must not remain silent and allow for the worsening of the treatment of Jews in Judaism. This is a significant danger to the state of Israel. Now here's the key. Anti-Semitism is the fuel that nourishes the BDS phenomenon, and the worse it gets, the worse Israel's situation will be in the world. This is a quote from Chairman Shai, and he is echoing fellow Knesset Likud party member Avram Nagiz's remark that the new anti-Semitism is disguised as an anti-Israel expression. Here at the Jerusalem Connection, we want to continue to report and share events with you, both good news and bad, so that you can continue to take action at the level you are able, whether it's through prayer, donating your time, energy, or other resources, and simply disseminating the truth within your own community and your own social networks. We know that God is in control, and that our prayer doesn't change God. It changes us and what we should be doing in His will and His efforts for His people. Happy New Year. Shavua Tov. Have a great week.